Daf Lamed Tet. L'fua shel ma? Moshe ben Evelyn and Hatzlachat Kol Am Yisrael B'frat Chayei Yisrael. Ibai lehu. So the Gemara said, Em notnim be'etzah b'tzad ha'meham. We're talking about putting an egg on the side of a pot of hot water. So the normal way of cooking is to cook on top of the fire, right? But now we're not cooking on top of the fire. We're cooking in something that was heated by the fire. Instead of cooking ba'ur, we're cooking betoldot ha'ur, something that was heated by the fire. This water was heated on the fire. I took it off the fire. Baruch haba. He's our Israeli army soldier that came back from the army base over there, right? So it says, "En notnim betzah b'tzad ha'meham b'shvil shetetgalgel." So you're not allowed to put an egg on the side of the hot water pot so that you get soft boiled. So is that an isur? It doesn't say hayav patur v'im natan mai. So Gemara says ibayalu gilgil mai. If I put it there and it got cooked, what's the law? Is it isur d'oraita or is that an isur d'rabanan? Amar Rav Yosef gilgil hayav hatat. If he did cook it and it cooked on Shabbat, he's chayav hatat. It's an isur d'oraita. Todot hama, todot ha'ur is like the ur.
How come it's d'oraita? It's not directly.
It doesn't make a difference. Once it came from fire, that's considered d'oraita. Right?
Do it directly. It's same thing.
Same thing. Right? Amar mor b'red ravina. Afanana mitanene. So we think we could find this in the Mishnah also. How is that? Mishnah says, Kol sheba behamim milifnei Shabbat. Anything that was in hot water before Shabbat. Right? Rashi. Kol sheba behamim. Kol maluach. Now we're going off topic a little bit to learn about en bishul ahar bishul. Kol maluach sheba behamim me'erev Shabbat. Anything that's salted that you put in hot water before Shabbat, because sometimes when you have something, if you salt it a lot, so it gets cooked already by the salting. In order to be finished cooking, all it needs is just a little bit of hot water, and that's enough. So kol maluach sheba behamim me'erev Shabbat. You put it in the hot water before Shabbat and it's cooked. Hozrin, you could go back. V'shorin oto behamim b'Shabbat. You could put it back in hot water on Shabbat to heat up. Ve'en bo mishum tikun. There's no bishul. Sharin it kan kvar. You already cooked it. It's not doing anything. Ve'kol shelo ba behamim lefnei Shabbat. But if you didn't put it in hot water from before Shabbat, madichin oto behamim b'Shabbat. You're allowed to rinse it with hot water on Shabbat. So what's going on over there? What do you mean you're allowed to rinse it with hot water on Shabbat? Rashi, madichin, she'en ze gmar melachto, aval, because that's not going to fix it, because it's not going to cook. Once you're not putting it in the hot water.
What is it doing for you, madichin?
Let's see. Look in the Tosfot. It's going to make it good, but it's not the way of cooking. Tosfot, kol sheba behamim lefnei Shabbat. Pirush. First, what do you mean ba behamim? Ba behamim is a funny term. It came in hot water. I put the thing in and I took it out. Now it's very good. Pirush nitpashel legamre. Kedemifaresh lekamam beperek chavit. Later on in Perek Chavit, the Gemara says kigon mai. What's considered ba behamim lefnei Shabbat? And the Gemara says kigon mai amar of safra kigon tarnegolta de Rabbi Abba. Like Rabbi Abba's chicken. Rashi says mivashela v'sheore ota yamim rabim behamin. They would soak it many days. Ve'ochla l'rfu'ah, and they would eat for refu'ah. So it means it's cooked all the way. It's fully cooked. Right? Mashma, not even ma'achal ben derusai. If you take that specifically, shenit bashel legamre, kedemefaresh lekamam beperek chavik. Kigon tanegol derbi abba, shorin ota behamin, afilu bekli rishon. So there's no problem to put it even in a kli rishon. What is a kli rishon? Kli rishon is the pot that you cooked. You boiled something, you heated something in that pot. That's a kli rishon. Kli rishon, everybody agrees, could cook when it's on the fire and even when it's off the fire. Why? Because there's so much heat built into the kli rishon, it could heat on the fire and off the fire. So now, even though this pot has the ability to cook, shorin oto bekli rishon, you can put in kli rishon because it's already cooked, and that's the yesod of en bishul ahar bishul. V'chol shelo ba behamin, but if you didn't cook it, madichin oto, you can rinse it. So what does rinse it sound like? When you say rinse it, it sounds like take the kli rishon, put your non-cooked item on a rack in the sink, and pour the hot water from the kli rishon onto the item. Right? That's what it sounds. Madichin, you rinse it. Sounds like madichin oto mikli rishon. You can rinse it from a kli rishon. Right? Madichin oto. So it says Tosfot, that's not so clear. Le pirush, it should be Rashbam. According to the Rashbam, the mefaresh de irui kekli rishon, kekli sheni. He holds, this is mahloket all over Shas, between the Rashbam and Rabbeinu Tam. If you, the Firush Rashbam, the mefaresh de irui kekli sheni, where is it? No, he holds kekli sheni. Right? If you hold the irui is kekli sheni, mine says kli sheni. Right? Le pirush Rashbam. Right? That says that irui is kekli sheni. He holds, meaning we know that a kli rishon cooks. Right? The pot that you heated the water on the fire cooks. The pot that you poured it, if you pour it into a kli sheni, you pour it from that pot into another pot. The second pot, kli sheni, we assume is not mevashel. We'll see it in another 2 pages in Perikira. Ten bekli sheni v'ten. Tu bekli sheni v'ten. Doesn't cook. Now the question is like this: at what point does it stop cooking? Does it stop cooking when it leaves the first pot? Or does it stop cooking when it gets into the second pot? So basically the question is, when I'm pouring from here into here, this whole area, the whole pour, is that kli rishon, or is it like kli sheni? That's what's called irui kli rishon. The pouring of the kli rishon, is that kli rishon, or is that like a kli sheni? That's the question. So Rashbam says the mefaresh de irui kekli sheni. He holds the pouring. Once it's out of the pot, it's like a kli sheni. Ati shapir hacha. It goes good. Because when it says madichin oto, you're allowed to rinse the food. That with you're allowed to rinse it. You can't put it in a kli rishon, but you can rinse it. Yeah, take the kli rishon, pour the water on top of it to heat it up. It's not going to cook because the irui is a kli sheni. But aval. The en shorin oto bekli rishon, aval madichin oto mikli rishon derech irui. If you pour it out, it's ready like a kli sheni. It's okay. Aval lepirush Rabbeinu Tam. Rabbeinu Tam argues. Rabbeinu Tam says that when you pour from a kli rishon, it stays a kli rishon until it actually hits the kli sheni. Why? Because when it gets in the kli sheni, the walls of the kli sheni start to take away heat, so it starts to cool down.
The kli sheni from outside, it's like kli sheni. When you're pouring from kli rishon. Either inside or outside was different.
No. What meaning? Once it gets in the kli sheni, it's a kli sheni. But until it got in the kli sheni, it's still kli rishon. That's my question. Right? So he's a kli rishon is like a kli rishon according to the Rabbeinu Tam. So if you tell me that I'm not allowed to put this uncooked item into the kli rishon, why can't I put it there? Because it's going to cook it. So pouring on it from the kli rishon is going to cook it according to the Rabbeinu Tam, because pouring from a kli rishon is like a kli rishon. So when the Mishnah says madichin oto, it can't mean madichin oto mikli rishon, right? So where are you pouring on from? From a kli sheni. Pouring from the kli sheni, you might as well put it in the kli sheni itself. You hear the problem? It's a problem. If you tell me you could pour on it from a kli rishon, so hazal baruch. You tell me you can't in shorin oto, aval madichin oto. You can't soak it in the kli rishon. You could pour on it from the kli rishon. But if you're talking about pouring on it from a kli sheni, so you could even put it in the kli sheni too, because kli sheni doesn't cook. So instead of saying don't put it inside, pour on it, say don't put it inside the kli rishon, put it in the kli sheni. Talk straight. Why are you skipping? You're skipping 2 steps. Irui kli rishon and kli sheni. And you're going to irui kli sheni. Let's see, inside. Aval pirush Rabbeinu Tam de mifaresh. The irui have a kli rishon. That he explains that pouring is like a kli rishon. Al korchach. You have to say, you're forced to say, madichin oto mikli sheni ka'amar. It means that you pour on it from a kli sheni. Ve'im ken, if so, my irya madichin. Why does it say in the Mishnah that you could pour on it? Afilu shorinami. You could pour it out, you could soak it in a kli sheni too. Ve'omer ri, the Ri says, Da'afilu bekli sheni en shorin. You're not even allowed to soak it in a kli sheni. Why? Tohoil dehamayim hamin, since the water is hot, mechzi kemevashel, it looks like cooking.
Who's gonna know yet?
What?
It's a keli sheni or keli sheni.
That's his problem. It looks like a kli sheni. No, kli bags is coming later. What do you mean? How could you tell me you can't put something in a kli sheni? It says later, we have another Mishnah that says, ha'ilfas va'kedera shehe'eviran merutahin. If you take a pot off the fire, right? So lo yiten letocham, on the bottom of Mem Bet Amud Aleph. Ha'ilfas va'kedera shehe'eviran merutahin. Lo yiten letochan tevalim. You can't put spices inside. Why? Because spices also could get cooked. Spices could get cooked. So you can't put spices in the pot because the pot will cook the spices. You want to add pepper. Okay, you already ground it. You don't have the grinder, right? You're going to add pepper. Fresh pepper. Grind the pepper or put the pepper in. It's cooking. So you can't put it there because the pot, the kli rishon, cooks. Aval noten hu letocha ke'ara. If you want to put it in a plate, it's mutar. Why? Because a plate is a kli sheni. Now, so that clearly says you're allowed to put uncooked items in a kli sheni, right? And now Tosfot is telling you that you can't put uncooked items in a kli sheni.
He's telling you for a different reason.
Chazal Baruch, but that Mishnah told you put it. Don't put it for this reason, but don't put it for that reason. Mishnah said, Rabbi, can I put the spices in? Mishnah said yes. Now you're telling me, no, maybe there's a problem.
Well, maybe just with this food.
So that's very good. So the Gemara says, "Omeri dafilu b'kli sheni and shurim." Dohil damayim hamin, since it's very hot. Mechzikim v'ashela looks like cooking. V'afal gav detanan lekaman. Aval noten letocha ke'ara, you let her put it in the pot. Or letocha tamhui hainu davka tevalin. That's spices. Shehen asuyim lematek et hakedera. Why? Because everybody knows that you're not cooking the spices. They're coming just to fix the food, exactly, to spice up the food. Well, you're in the next piece. We didn't get there yet. But you could be, we're getting there. Right? Velo mechzikim vashel. So according to the first pshat in Tosfot, you're not allowed to put food even in a kli sheni to cook. Or to warm up, right? If it's not cooked. Why mechzikim vashel? The only time you're allowed to put is spices. Why? Metaken ha'ochel. No, it's not mechzi, because it's not a derech of cooking spices. You don't cook spices. Spices only put, there's no mechzi on spices. It's just coming to fix the food. You put something uncooked in, it looks like bishul.
According to the mechzi, what about kli shalishi also?
It's not so hot, kli shalishi, maybe. Maybe kli shalishi is asur too. It's not clear. Now, inami, another answer. Hu adin shorinoto. Really, you're allowed to soak it. Why? Kivan da ayri b'kli sheni. V'hadin akat madichin. So why does it say in the Mishnah madichin? Not for the Reisha. Lashmin and da'afilu hadaha hav yigmar melacha b'maliyach hayashan v'kul yasa ispanin. To teach you that not only in the kli sheni, soaking it, because it's really for the sefer. Let's see the sefer. So now let's see. Kol shabbat b'hamim milfnei Shabbat. Anything that you put in hot water, you cooked it before Shabbat. Shorin oto b'hamim b'Shabbat. You could soak it in a kli rishon on Shabbat, and there's no problem of bishul, because it's already cooked, even though it's in a kli rishon. The only thing you're not allowed to do, you're not allowed to put it in a kli rishon that's on the fire. Why? Because that's mechzikim vashel. That's going to look like cooking. The kol shelo ba b'hamim milfnei Shabbat, and anything that wasn't cooked before Shabbat, madichin oto b'hamim b'Shabbat. So we're going to say that madichin oto b'hamim b'Shabbat, this uncooked item, according to the Rashbam, is from a kli rishon, and according to Rabbeinu Tam, is from a kli sheni, right? Chutz min hamaliach yashan v'kul yasa espanim, except for maliach yashan, right, is something that's very old and salty, and kul yasa espanim, Rashi says dag shekorin tunina, right? Maybe shadahatan zu higmar melachtan, because they only need a little bit of cooking. Even pouring hot water from a kli rishon or sheni, we'll make it. We'll finish cooking it. Rashi shadahatan Zu higmar melachtan, because rinsing it cooks it. Mi dekari le gmar melacha, from the fact that they use the term gemar melacha, Rashi says, shma mina zeu bishulo v'hayav. You see, that's the cooking. That's cooking it, and it's chayav. So what did I prove from here? I wanted to prove that if you cook not with fire, but with something that was heated by fire, you can be hayav. And I see that because the Gemara says hadahato, even from a kli sheni, if that's the derech to cook it, it's gemar melachto, and that term would only be used if it was hayav. Shadahato.
Hot water and fish.
If all it needs is rinsing in hot water, you'll be chayav. This is the classic concept of kaleh habishul, and that's where the question of tea bags comes from, of cooking tea on Shabbat, because some want to say that tea only needs a kaleh habishul. It's cooked easily. If it's considered kaleh habishul, then it's not enough that you're putting it in a kli sheni, because a kli sheni will cook kaleh habishul, and that's the question: does kli sheni help? Does it not help?
Is the problem bishul or mafsek?
No, on tea bags, the question is a bishul. If it's considered like kulyaz, maybe it's considered like kulyaz espanin. That all it needs is a drop of cooking. So you make it, you put it in a kli sheni, so maybe that's considered kaleh bishul.
Even keli shirishi, you're drinking tea. Normally, that's it. This is the
I know, but if it's so Rabbi Feinstein came to, he says, let's think a second. Over here it says hadah hatan, even pouring from a kli sheni is madiach. Why say hadah hatan from kli sheni? Maybe even hadah hatan from kli shlishi. So Ramoshe says we never found anywhere that a kli sheni is mevashel, even kaleh bishul. That's his opinion, and others hold like that.
Never found that kli sheni is
Kli shlishi. Others say once it's not a kli rishon, and heat is the same. Shrini, shlishi, shmini. What's the difference? Those.
Losing heat.
I understand, but
losing, but you see mevashel.
if it's not kli rishon, he's telling you if it's not kli rishon, there's no difference.
They're all
The difference between sheni and shlishi.
What's the difference? The rishon is rishon. After that, it's all the same. It's all not rishon. That's the way you look at it. Two ways to look at it. That's why some are mekel on the kli shlishi and some are not.
You got the kli sheni.
Okay.
If it's still hot, then
still boiling.
Right. And if it doesn't cook, so you don't have tea anyway. Okay. V'lo shma mina. So there we learn. Anytime you cook.
With cold water.
Anytime you cook, it doesn't taste the same. Anytime you cook.
I see they make it hot first.
No, they also have a cold brew method, I think. Anytime you cook with kli, with a keli that cooks, and it's toldot ta'ur, and it was heated by the fire, that's considered derech bishul, and you hayav. That's what we see. Hadahatan zugi mamlachtan. So the question was, if gilgel mai, if you cooked it with toldot ta'ur, what's the law? Hayav. V'lo yafgi'ena besudrin. You can't put the egg in the handkerchief that was heated by the sun. And the Yosi is matir. What's that machloket? L'chaora, let's see, v'atenan, notnim tavshil, letoch habor. So it seems like the chachamim are oser to cook with the sun also. Gezerah, you might cook with fire. And the Yosi says we don't go there. You're allowed to cook with the sun, right? Lo yafki'ena besudrin. The sudar was heated by the sun. So the Chachamim say you're not allowed to cook with the sun, and the BOC says you are allowed to cook with the sun. We have a Mishnah that says, "Notnim tavshil letoch habor b'shvil sheyeh shamur." You're allowed to put a pot of food in a bor, in a pit, so it should stay protected and it's not considered hatmana. Be'et hamayim hayafim bara'im. You're allowed to put good water in the bad water, b'shvil sheyeh tzaninu, so they should cool down. You're allowed to put cold water in the sun so it should heat up. Lema Rabbi Yossi. Let's say it's Rabbi Yossi. Why? Because according to the Chachamim, you can't heat up hot water in the sun. So that would mean that we have a Stam Mishnah like Rabbi Yossi. Following this Mishnah, we should posek like Rabbi Yossi because it's a mahloket. Ve'achar kach Stam. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Nachman. No, it's not like Rabbi Yossi. Bahama, if you're heating directly in the sun, dekule alma lo pligi deshari. Everybody holds it's mutar. Because what are you going to tell me? If people see you heating in the sun, they're going to come to cook on the fire. They see I'm cooking with the sun.
Oh.
It cooks very good. What? Mivashel.
So then, what's the difference?
What's the difference how I'm cooking it? Could be it's not normal to cook with the sun. It's not derech bishulon. It's not. What?
It's getting cooked.
So no, if it's not a derech, it's not a derech. You're only chayav on the normal way.
So why off the reflection?
So
Is
you're
not
getting the
allowed?
same result of
One second, no. When you see the guy cooking in the sun, he takes his egg, he puts it outside in the sun, and he cooks. Okay, so then you see that he's cooking in the sun. It's mutar. Everybody sees what he's doing. Masha enken, when you see him cooking, keep ligi when do they argue b'toldot hama? If you have something that was heated by the sun, like the handkerchief, mor savar, the chachamim hold gazrinan toldot hama atu toldot ur. Right? You have a guy, let's say he heats up a pot of hot water in the sun. Now the water's boiling. He heated it up outside. Now he brings it inside. He puts his eggs inside. Nobody knows if he heated that hot water outside in the sun or inside on the fire.
Right, Toldot Ta'ur means Ma'in or means that you're going to come and do it, Toldot
the gozer mosavar gazrinan toldot hama atu toldot ta'ur. If we allow you to do it in toldot hama, they'll come and make a mistake. They'll come to do it in toldot ta'ur. They'll say it's only asur to cook on the fire, but cooking with something that comes from the fire is mutar, and they're not going to realize that's asur. It's only because this comes from the sun. No, because the melacha itself is nikar, and the todah is not nikar. That's exactly the point. There's no gizera hama atu ur. Hey, I see this is on the stove, and this is in the backyard.
If they have a way of cooking something that's not
In the sun?
normal way. No, I have this chemical thing. Or just,
That's the question. That's the question about those chemical things. Originally, I wanted to say that's called hama. What? I don't think that's derech at all, but nobody agreed with me. Anything that's not derech. They asked Rabbi Moshe, one of the famous chuvas, they asked Rabbi Moshe about microwave ovens in the 70s. He says it's going to be derech.
It's going to be derech?
Well, in the 70s, nobody had one yet. The thing costed $17,000. But
why the shaking of the chemical won't be there? That's the way for that item to cook.
how many people cook anything like that?
If you bought that item, you're going to take it and put it in the oven?
Let me ask you, yes you would. If you have it at home, if you have a microwave, you're going to do it. The water from the dud shemish. The question on the dud shemish is exactly this. Wow, I'm not giving a psak because everybody argues on me. I thought offhand it should be considered hama.
It's heating up the tank that's heating the water. The sun is
Yeah.
heating the water directly.
No, I thought it's hama. It should be mutar. I thought it's hama. Could be you could argue that it's sodot hama. But the question on the dud shemish is like this. The first water that you heat up in the dud shemish, that's hama. Right? Heats up. Now you turn on the water. The new cold water is going into the dud that has toldot hama. So you're cooking the new water that comes in with toldot hama. So you're cooking with an isud rabanan. So Chamuvadia comes to the conclusion that it's a psik reisha, the lo ichpatle bidrabanan, which is mutar. No, he said, what? Right now when I'm washing my hands, I care if the water comes in, doesn't come in. What do I care? So he says,
You have already.
I have hot water for now. This is for later on. When you're thinking about later, adraba, now it's making the water cold. Right? When you take a shower, the thing you hate most is that cold water that's coming in, because eventually the hot water runs out. Lo nichale. So he says it's a psik reisha, the lo nichale, and todot hama is only drabanan. So Chamvad holds you're allowed to use it. Over here it wouldn't work, because over here it's a psik reisha. Even if it's b'doraita, we hope psik reisha is asur. But over there by psik reisha, the lo nichale b'drabanan, Chamvad was mekil, and that's the argument. Is it a psik reisha, or maybe that's what you want to do it? Right, he doesn't let you take a shower with it.
All right, the dud shemen, the sun is heating up the tank, which is heating the water.
No. Well, let me ask you a question. When it says over here that you put, that you put hot water, you put water in the sun to heat up, you just pour the water on the floor?
No, but that's the sun is heating it directly. Over there, it's inside the tank.
No, the sun is heating up the water
It's
directly.
not open.
So what?
It's inside the tank.
If I take a pot and I put it outside, what is
The
that?
sun is getting hit.
And over here, what's it hitting?
It's hitting the container.
No. So
It's
what?
not open. It's enclosed. Cover the pot.
If I cover the pot, it's asur.
Then that's the pot.
No,
That's
heating.
toldot.
No, that's not toldot. I used to think like that. Doesn't it? It has a panel that's like this. But the water is in that.
That's what heats up, though. No?
With the water in it. Okay.
What's the difference between
Either way, that's not my problem. I didn't do that. That happens by itself.
second hand that happens, no?
That happens by itself. I don't have to do anything. It's the water that comes in. Let's go. We got to move. It says the Gemara, "V'lo yatmin ena behol." You can't put the egg in the sand. It says the Gemara, "V'lif log nami Rabbi Yossi beha." Rabbi Yossi argues about the sudarin. He says todot hamaz mutar. So l'chaora, the sand that's heated from the sun, he should also say it's mutar. Why doesn't he say it's mutar? V'lif log nami Rabbi Yossi beha. Says the Gemara, Rabba amar gezerah shemi yatmin beremetz. Rabba says the isur is he's afraid if you hot dirt is like hot ashes. If he lets you put it in the hot dirt, you're going to come to bury the sand, the egg in remetz, which is the barbecue leftovers, and that's todot ta'ur. So over there he made a gezerah. What? It's gezerah to atmana. Looks like atmana, gezerah shemi yatmin beremetz. Rav Yosef amar mipnei shemeziz afar bimkomo. No, it's separate gezerah. You're moving the dirt. Rashi learns you're moving the dirt means you're going to dig a hole to put it in. And digging a hole is an isur de oraita. Right? And Tosfot says it's not gezerah shem, it's not gezerah shem meziz, mipnei shemeziz, because moving dirt is muktzeh.
One hold Dorata, one hold Darbanan.
Everybody holds it's drabanan. One holds it's a gezerah atu hofer, and he says no, it's muktzeh. My benayu, ika benayu. Yeah, dirt is muktzeh.
If he is mukhan.
My benayu, ika benayu afar tichoach. Dirt that's soft and it doesn't stay. According to Rashi, that holds the reason why it's asur is because you're going to dig a hole. So when you have such soft sand, it doesn't even make a hole. You take some, the rest of it goes right back to holding its shape. No, it's not a hole. He doesn't think it's a hole. So therefore, that's mutar. And according to Tosfot, it means afar tichoch, which is muchan, and there's no problem of mipnei shemiziz afar mimkomo. Says the Gemara, Meiti, I'll ask you a question. Rashba gomer, megalgelim betza, you let it roll an egg al gabe gag roteach on a hot roof. Ve'en megalgelim betza, and you can't cook the egg al gabe sid roteach on top of hot lime, because the hot lime is toldot ta'ur, and the hot roof is from the sun. So he's like Rabbi Yossi.
It's lime, like a plaster?
Yeah, lime seed. They take stones, they put it in the oven, and it comes out as plaster, right? According to the opinion that says because you might make hatmana leka lemigzar, there's no problem of a gezerah on the roof. It's hard. There's nothing to make it in. Don't let me put it on the roof because I might come to move dirt. Dirt where? That's the question. So on the roof. So the Gemara says, Tam gag lit be'afar. Your average roof doesn't have dirt. The roof is very hard. There's no dirt there. Tashema, I'll bring you another proof. Ma'aseh, the Sefer the Mishnah is continuing. Ma'aseh she'asu anshe Tveria ve'eviu silon shel sonen letoch hama shel hamin. They put the cold water through the hot water, and the Chachamim told him it's asur bishlama leman de amar. Hey, Rashi says letoch hama shel hamim ve'hamet Tveria lav toldot ha'ur ninhu. They didn't get heated on a fire. Va'afilu hachi asru lehu. They were usir. Umodeh b'ha Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi agrees. He's not arguing on the story. So why is he usir? It should be mutar. It's toldot hama. Bishlama leman de amar gezerah shemi yatmin beremetz. If you say the gezerah is because you're going to come to make hatmana, hainu dedami lahatmana. Burying it in hot water is like burying it in remetz. You'll come to make hatmana. You'll next time. Instead of putting it in the chamet veri, you'll put it in the thing of remetz. It's also hatmana. And from here, the poskim learned that there's such a thing as hatmana in hot water. Ela. Because he's moving dirt. Where's the dirt in Chamet Veria? Says the Gemara, Mi Savart, are you thinking Maaseh Tiveria Aseifa Kai is going on the Seifa? No, Areisha Kai. This story is going on the Reisha. It's part of the argument. V'hachi ka'amar le Rabbanan, ka'amri le Rabbanan le Rabbi Yossi. The Chachamim told the Rabbi Yossi, it's not discussing the Seifa where they agree because of Hatmana. No, the Chachamim told Rabbi Yossi, Ha'ma'aseh da'anshe Tveria, the Toldot Hamahu, it's Toldot Hama, right? Chamet Tveria, it gets heated by the ground. It's not getting heated by fire. There's no fire underneath the ground. Ve'asri lehu Rabbanan, and the Chachamim said that it's asur to use it. You see that Hama is mutar, Toldot Hama is asur. Amar lehu, he told them, Hahu Toldot Urhu. That is heated by fire. Where's the fire? You know why Chamet Tveria is hot? Techalfi apitcha de Gehinam, because the water flows by the opening of Gehinam. There's fire in Gehinam. Underneath Tveria. What? Who says Maaseh Adam? If you have fire from Hashem, you can cook on it? If lightning comes and it sets something on fire, that's mutar? It goes on fire? Okay. What? No, Gehinam is fire. Not chemicals, fire.
But what causes the fire? Chemicals.
How do you know? Did you check it out? I mean, I didn't know that they have tools yet that go down there when you go to Israel.
No, you have the match. When you strike a match.
That's fire. That's not.
chemical reaction.
No, it's not. That's fire. Once it's burning, we don't care where you started it from. When you have chemicals that get hot without burning, that you could argue if that's hama or whatever. But when it's burning, when you see flames, I don't care how you started it.
Alright, so if you get flames, any way you get flames is flames.
That's fire. Flames is flames.
So if sun hit the paper and it turns a fire and then you cook on it, you hayab because of fire.
Correct.
That's the master of the time.
That says emotziin esh min hamayim.
We do right there.
Of course. The halfe apitcha de geinam. Amar Rav Hizda. Rav Hizda says, Mima'aseh she'asu anshe Tveria. From the story of the anshe Tveria, right? Ve'asli she'asu anshe ve'asli lu Rabbanan, and the Chachamim told them that it was asur. Batla hatmana b'davar mosif aval. You see that hatmana b'davar mosif aval is asur, because over here you had the Chamet Tveria. It's constantly adding heat, right? And it's asur. So you're not allowed to use it. Rashi. Ne'esra hatmana b'davar mosif aval. Tahami be'od yom natnu sham asilon. They put the water there from before Shabbat. U'mepnei shatzonenim mithamimim bekach. Because this cold water gets heated up. Ve'afal gav de memela, even though it happens by itself. Asur. What's the chidush? That's Tosot's question. Ve'im tomar, ma tzarich lemela v'ma anshe Tveria. What do you have to learn from anshe Tveria? Hamatnitin, you have a whole perek. Bameh tomnim, right? En tomnim b'davar mosif aval. Beperek bameh tomnim. Umi be'od yom ayri. And over there it's talking that you're putting it in before Shabbat. Demishe hashecha filu b'davar she'en mosif aval asur. Like we said before. Ve'omer ri, the matnitin, they'll come on the Mishnah later, ikilu kuma beben hashemashot. Maybe it's only asur to make katmana by ben hashemashot. Aval maybe od yom before Shabbat, hava amina deshari, I might have thought it's mutar. So therefore we need that Maaseh Danshe Tveria to teach me, even if you do it way before Shabbat, it's asur. V'harav Shmuel mivardin, at the end of the Tosfot. Rabbi Shmuel mivardin mefaresh, Mima'aseh anshe Tveria batla hatmana de'asur afilu le'echol. You might have said the hatmana is asur, but if you did it, it's not asur to eat. So you did an isur, but the food is mutar. Kamash malam mima'aseh anshe Tveria batla hatmana, that even if you did it, the food is asur. V'Rabbeinu Yonah mefaresh, batla hatmana afilu bekedera haita. Even in raw food, you're not allowed to make hatmana. V'hainu de'ka'amar betela. It's batel, not that it's asur. Batel, there's nothing to do, because this hot water is also like a kedera haita. Okay. The Gemara says, Amar Ula. What? Which Rashi? Why not? You might have said Kedera Chayt is mutar. Hatmana b'davar mosif aval? We'll cook. Cook good. Long time we'll cook.
Yeah, that's something.
Right? The Gemara says, Amar Ula halacha ke'anshe Tveria. That's strange. Ula says halacha is like the anshe Tveria. You could put the psilon shel hamin through the thing. It's mutar. Amar Rav Rav Nachman kvar tavrinu anshe Tveria lesilunaihu. They already broke the pipe because the Chachamim said it's asur. How do you say that halacha is like them?
They went to Gehenna.
Is he saying that it's not or? Maybe? Maybe he's saying it's not or?
We know it's not ur. That's Rabbi Yossi's thing, but it's asur to do it. The Chachamim was asur for them. What are you talking about? Ula, what are you talking about? The truth is, Yossi, maybe Anshe it's not ur, but that's only if you hold like Rabbi Yossi. So it's a problem. It's a problem. He's trying. Okay. Ma'aseh she'asu Anshe Tveria. There was a story that the Anshe Tveria did. So now what was the psak? The psak was like this. The psak was, if you did it for Shabbat, the water is considered like you heated it on Shabbat. And if you did it on Yom Tov, the water is considered like you heated it on Yom Tov. So you're not getting any freebies, there's no free hot water source, nothing. So now the Gemara says, and the Mishnah said, if it's on Shabbat, it's asur b'shtiyah and asur b'rchitza. If it's on Yom Tov, it's mutar b'shtiyah, but it's asur b'rchitza. What kind of rechitza are we talking about? My rechitza. Ilema rechitzat kol gufo. We talk and wait. We got to go back a second. It says in the Mishnah, if you're talking about this water on Shabbat, it's like hot water that was heated on Shabbat, and therefore it's asur b'shtiyam berchitza. And if it's on Yom Tov, it's like hamin that got heated on Yom Tov. You're allowed to drink it, but you're not allowed to wash with it. Now, from the fact that it says it's like hamin that got heated on Shabbat, and it's like hamin that got heated on Yom Tov, it's mashma that if it would have been heated from before Shabbat and before Yom Tov, all of this would have been mutar. Right? That's the question. My rechitza. Ilay merechitzat kol gufo. If you're talking about washing your whole body, ela hamin shu hamu b'Shabbat hu da asurin, ha hamin shu hamu me'erev Shabbat mutarin. So that would tell me that you only not allowed to wash your whole body with water that was heated on Shabbat. But water that was heated on Yom Tov, before Shabbat, you're allowed to wash your whole body. Ve'hatanya, didn't we have a braita? Hamin shehu hamu me'erev Shabbat, hot water heated from Friday. Lemahar, the next day, rohetz bahem panav yadav raglav. You could wash your hands, your face, and your feet. Avalo kol gufo, but not your whole body. So that's not working. To assume that asurim b'rchitza means you can't wash your whole body, but if it was from Friday you could wash your whole body, is not working. Ela must be.
Why are you not going to shower?
You're not allowed to take a shower on Shabbat.
Shabbat.
Of course not.
Friday.
No, but he wants to take another shower on Shabbat. Asur. Ela panav yadav raglav. He wants to wash only his hands, his face, and his feet. Right? So if it was heated on Erev Shabbat, it's mutar. If it's heated on Shabbat, you can't use it for anything. That's what we're talking about, right? So rechitza, when it says asurim b'rechitza, means don't wash even your hands, your face, and your feet. So now when it says on Yom Tov that you're allowed to wash, right? It says on Yom Tov that you're not allowed to wash, right? On Yom Tov you're allowed to drink, you're not allowed to wash. So you're going to tell me that if you heat water on Yom Tov, you can't wash your hands with it? Right? Lema tanan, ela, ema seifa, b'yom tov, if it's on Yom Tov, kehamin shu hamu b'yom tov. It's like hot water that was heated on Yom Tov. The asurim b'rchitza, you're not allowed to wash with it. Umutarim b'shtiyah, but you're allowed to drink it. Lema tanan stama kebet shamai. Let's assume that this Mishnah is going like Bet Shammai. Can't be. The Tanan we learned Bet Shammai Omrim Lo Yahem Adam Hamin Liraglav. You're not allowed to heat up hot water for your feet. Ela Imken Re'uyim Lishtiyah. Unless it's drinkable. Why? Bet Shammai holds that heating up water to wash your body is not considered Ochel Nefesh. Ochel Nefesh is what you eat, not what you wash with. So therefore, to heat up water to wash your body is asur. What could you do? You could heat up water to drink, and if you don't want to drink it, you could wash. But if you're using water that's not drinkable, right? In some places you have water that's potable water or potable water and not potable water. Right? You have the showers is not drinkable, and then they have special drinking water. Right? So if you're heating up water that's not drinkable to take a shower, it's asur. Right? Ubetelil matirim, and betelil is matir. So why can't I heat up water? If it must be the Mishnah that says I can't heat up water for rechitza as Bet Shammai. Amar Rav Ika, and that's not good because Bet Shammai b'mkom betelil in a Mishnah. Amar Rav Ika bar Hanina. No, you know it's talking about lishtatef bahem. It's talking about not washing your whole body at once. It's talking about washing your body in pieces. Rashi, shenoten al gufo. You pour the water on your body. Umishtatef. Lishtatef b'hem kol gufo askin. It's talking about rinsing your body piece by piece. V'hai tanahu. It's this tana that holds that with water that was heated on Erev Shabbat, it's mutar. V'hai tanahu the tanya lo yishtatef adam kol gufo. You're not allowed to rinse your whole body piece by piece. Ben behamin, not with hot water. Ben betzonen, and not even with cold water. Divrei Rabbi Meir. That's Rabbi Meir's opinion. Rabbi Shimon matir. Rabbi Shimon is matir, hot water and cold water. Right. Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Rabbi Yehuda says behamin with hot water it's asur to be mishtatef. Betzonen with cold water mutar. Look in Rashi. Lishtatef. Shenoten al gufo, he pours it on his body umishtatef. V'haitana Rabbi Shimon. He goes like Rabbi Shimon. The matir lishtatef kol gufo b'Shabbat. He allows you to pour water on your whole body on Shabbat. Behamin shu hamu me'erev Shabbat. With hot water that was heated from Friday. V'hainu de'ama kama. That's what he's saying. Kehamin shu hamu b'Shabbat. This water, that's if you had water that was heated on Friday, you'd be allowed to rinse your whole body with mishtatef. But this water that comes out of the Anshe Tveria item, kehamin shu hamu b'Shabbat, and it's asur. Hashu hamu me'etmol, if it will be heated from yesterday, shari. V'i b'yom tov, and if it's on yom tov, kehamin shu hamu b'yom tov, ve'asur b'rchitza, and you're not allowed to wash your whole body. Ta'afilu betelel, lo shari, le'achem b'yom tov, ela lepanav yadav v'raglav. They only allow you to heat up water on yom tov to wash your hands, your face, and your feet. Aval l'shituv kol gufo, but to wash your whole body, lo. He doesn't allow. Now, Rashi doesn't tell you what's the difference. If it's considered ochel nefesh, it's ochel nefesh. If it's not ochel nefesh, it's not ochel nefesh. Why should you be allowed to heat up hot water to wash your hands and not heat up hot water to wash your body? What's the difference? If it's ochel nefesh, it's ochel nefesh. If it's not ochel nefesh, it's not ochel nefesh. Yeah. Let's say it's our shell. Let's say it's not. Well, either way, I'm pouring it all over my body. What? I don't. Let's say it is. It isn't. Why doesn't Beit Hillel allow you to heat up hot water to wash your whole body? What do you mean tzorich yom tov? You should be mutar. You're saying. So you agree with the question. But Rashi tells you even Beit Hillel that allows you to heat up hot water is only to wash your hands, your face, and your feet, but not to wash your whole body. Mimanav shach. If you're not allowed to do anything you want on Yom Tov, right? So what's allowed? Ochel nefesh. If washing is ochel nefesh, it should be mutar. If it's not ochel nefesh, it should all be asur, like Bet Shammai. Where do you get this compromised position? So Tosafot says, Ubet Hillel matirim. What was the Mishnah we had before? Lo yachem adam hamin l'raglav. Ubet Hillel divrei Bet Shammai elam kenushliya. Ubet Hillel matirim. Says Tosafot mashma. Davka l'raglav, aval letzorech kol gufo lo. But you're not allowed to heat up hot water for your whole body. V'chen mashma bekulash ma'atin. It sounds like that from the whole sugya. Temachmirim behamin shu hamu b'yom tov. If you have hot water that was heated on Yom Tov, we're mahmir ki hamin shu hamu b'Shabbat, like hot water that was heated on Shabbat. And more than that, we'll see later. V'gazru al ze'ah b'yom tov kemo b'Shabbat. They said you're not even allowed to go into the bathhouse to sweat. On Yom Tov, it was a hot item then. They used to feel that when you sweat, like the old man, it gets out all the toxins, it's very healthy. So steam room. Okay. So you go into the steam room on Yom Tov. Now you're not washing, but they will go say the steam room because when they went into the steam room, they used to take a shower with the hot water. Right? V'gazur al ze'ah b'yom tov k'mo b'Shabbat. K'damar be'betzah. Now, if washing your body with hot water is mutar, so why you will say because of washing if the washing is mutar? So there has to be that there's an isur in the washing. Im ken mashma she'asur la'asot hav'ara mishum rechitza. Must be that it's asur to light a fire in order to wash. She'im lo ken, if there's no isur, lo ayu gozrim ala zi'ah. Why you're osering zi'ah for something that's only a drabanan? V'teima. Tema ishna hav'ara derchitza me'hav'ara de zi'ah. It's worse. Why is washing less than zi'ah?
You're going to light a fire?
Of course. How's it gonna be make zi'ah? So ve'omeri b'shem riva. Derchitza en ela l'ta'anug. Rechitza with hot water, that's a ta'anug. Ve'asura kemo mugmar. That's asur like incense. Mishum de'en shaveh l'chol nefesh. Not everybody needs that. We only allow on Yom Tov. The Gemara says, could you make mugmar on Yom Tov? You want to make a good smell. You want to put bisamim on the fire to make a good smell. Gemara says that's asur. Why? Ena shaveh l'chol nefesh. Most people don't care for that. Many people don't care. Steak, shaveh l'chol nefesh. What?
Cigarettes not shaveh l'kol.
So that's a question. Is it shaveh? Is it not shaveh? They used to say the cigarettes is for refuah.
Most people don't smoke. Most people don't.
Let's see. Let's finish the Tosfot. You'll understand. So they say, "V'chen mashma b'Yerushalmi dahainu ta'amad derchitza, aval ze'ah shavei l'chol nefesh." Why? The ena ta'anug ela lebriut. It's to keep you healthy. Gets out the toxins. Makes you feel good. Makes you healthy. Rechitza is extra. Ze'ah is what you need. So it could be they used to say when they discussed the cigarettes, some said it's not shavei l'chol nefesh. The other guy says no, it's refuah because it helps you go to the bathroom and it helps you do this and all time. But there's no question. There's a lot of poskim that hold that smoking cigarettes is asur, and some of them dafka on Yom Tov because of this reason. So the heter was because it was for refuah. Now that's not for refuah. So what's your heter?
It's just like that. Oneg and fanalash.
It's not shavei l'chol nefesh. What? Who? That is shavei l'chol nefesh? Pele, how could it be shavei l'chol nefesh? Could be. Okay. Mirhat shepakiku nekavav. Okay, so that's what he has over here. That Tosfot learns that the reason why you're not allowed to wash on Yom Tov your whole body, famously, is because it's not a hana'ah shavei l'chol nefesh. Not everybody needs to wash with hot water. That's why there are poskim today that want to claim that washing with hot water nowadays, everybody needs hot water. Everybody wants to take a hot shower. Who takes cold showers? So therefore, some want to claim that it's shavei l'chol nefesh. Some say no. If you go to India, there's plenty of people that don't take showers. They take them once a year. So how what? Because you take showers every day? You're from the...
By your town.
I don't know if it goes by your town. Maybe it goes by the whole world. You go to the Bronx. Okay.
If you don't have power for a couple of days and you live in a high apartment.
Right. You didn't take a shower. You washed in the same water.
No, it's odd.
Okay.
It wasn't normal.
The Rambam Bechlal doesn't learn like this. The Rambam holds that showering is shavei l'chol nefesh. Doesn't call it his business. The Rambam says you're not allowed to wash with hot water on Yom Tov gezerah mishum gezerat merchatzaot. Which is a difficult thing. But so what's going to happen in the bathhouse? You're still allowed to wash with hot water. So I don't know. Maybe they're going to heat up for good. I don't know exactly. It's not clear exactly what gezerat merchatzaot is on Yom Tov. If the isur of heating the hot water is mutar, so what's going to happen in the merchatzaot? Maybe they'll wash the towels. I don't know. Okay, it's a difficult concept. Let's say. So we're saying that it's Rabbi Shimon, and Rabbi Shimon, we answered on he's matir hot water that's heated from Erev Shabbat, not hot water that's heated on Shabbat. He's matir hot water that's heated on Erev Yom Tov l'shituf. He's not matir water that's heated on Yom Tov for shituf. And that's what they told him. If you did it on Yom Tov, it's like on Yom Tov. On Shabbat, it's like Shabbat. You can't be mishtatev kol gufo. Mashenken, according to Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir, it does make a difference. It's all asur.
So going to the steam room is better on Yom Tov?
For sure. Yes. Amar Rav Hizda, Mahloket bekeli, the mahloket between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda. If you're allowed to rinse yourself with hot water, is talking when the water's in a keli. Why? Because that looks like you heated it on Shabbat. Aval bekarka, if the water is in the ground, Divrei hakol mutar. Everybody agrees that it's mutar. Well, because it doesn't look like it was heated today. Rashi, Bekeli daroe omer hayom muhamu. The guy that sees you washing, even though it's heated from yesterday, he thinks he heated it today. Umuchecha milta, and it's clear that toldot ha'urninu, that it was heated by the sun because you put it in a keli. Va'ati la'achem b'Shabbat. He's going to come to heat up water on Shabbat, not putting on a fire. Kegon noten sonem b'hamim. He'll pour cold water into the hot water, will be considered cooking it. Aval b'karka, but in the ground, divrei hakol mutar. So mutar. The water from Anshe Tveria, after it came out of that pipe, it fell in the ground. Right? And even so, we said, in b'hamin, in b'shabbat, ki hamin shuhamu b'shabbat, in b'yom tov, ki hamin shuhamu b'yom tov, even though it was in the ground. Ve'asilu rabbanan, ela, reverse. I itmar, hachi itmar. Mahloket, the mahloket between the Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Shimon Yehuda, is bekarka, is in the ground. That's when we have a mahloket. Aval bekeli, if the water is going to a keli and you're pouring it on yourself from a keli directly, divrei hakol asur. Everybody holds it's asur. Amar Rabba Babarhana, Amar Rabbi Yohanan, halacha Rabbi Yehuda. The hot water is asur, and cold water is mutar. So therefore, we say that even if you have hot water that was heated from erev Shabbat or erev Yom Tov, and you want to be mishtatef, the chawra even erev Yom Tov, if you want to be mishtatef, it's asur. Could be this is mahloket. The Rif argues, but right now that's what it seems like. Ben b'Shabbat, ben b'Yom Tov. Mahloket bekarka. Sorry, halacha Rabbi Yehuda. Amar le Rav Yosef, beferush shmi alecha, or michlal shmi alecha. Did you hear this beferush, or did you only imply it? My klala, where are you going to imply it from? The Amar Rabbi Tanhum, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Amar Rabbi Yanai, Kol makom she'ata motzeh shnei holkim. Wherever you see two people arguing, ve'echad machriya, and one guy is the compromised position, he's in between. Halacha kedevrei machriya. The halacha is like the machriya, is like the compromiser. Chutz mikule matlaniot, except for those cheap types of shmatas that we spoke about in Bameh Madlikin, she'af al pi she'Rabbi Eliezer mahmir, ve'Rabbi Yoshua mekel, ve'Rabbi Akiva machriya, and halacha kedevrei machriya. Right? What was the case over there? You have a piece that's less than 3 tefachim by 3 tefachim. We said if it's ben menamuchan, Rabbi Eliezer says ben menamuchan, ben she'en menamuchan, it's tameh. Rabbi Yoshua holds ben menamuchan, ben she'en menamuchan, it's tahor. And Rabbi Akiva holds menamuchan, it's tameh. Shalom menamuchan, it's tahor. So he's the machriya. He splits the vote. She'en halacha kedvrei machriya. But that's the only exception. Why? Hada. One reason is that Rabbi Akiva talmidhu. He's their student. His achra'ah doesn't carry weight in their mahloket. They say the reason for halakha kedevrei machriya is Batre is only after Abaye Rava. The reason why halakha kedevrei machriya is because if you have a hachra'ah, so when you weigh the let's say min hamuchan, right? You have Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Eliezer say it's tameh, so it's tameh, 2 against 1. When you go to enu min hamuchan, you have 2 against 1 that it's tahor, so it's tahor.
It's always going to be like Rov.
Says Rov, it's instant Rov. The Machriya gives you a Rov here, a Rov there. Right? Chada, but now Rabbi Akiva is a Talmid, he doesn't count in you can't weigh him. He's not on the level to be weighed in that Mahloket. Chada, Rabbi Akiva Talmidhu. Ve'od, hadar Rabbi Akiva legabe Rabbi Yoshua. Rabbi Akiva anyway changed his mind. So there's no more Machriya. So he told him, "V'im mechlala mai." If it's only from the klala, of course, a machriya mai. Dilma hani mili b'matniti. Maybe we only hold the vrei machriya in a mishnah. Avo b'braita lo. Amar le ana beferush mi'ali. I heard it beferush. The halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda.
That pesonen is mutar and behamin is shacham me'arif Shabbat is only part of your body and beyom tov if you hamin she'ahavu kol is mutar.
Wow, we hold that Chamin Shuchamu b'Yom Tov and Chamin Shuchamu b'Shabbat, it's all Asur, no question. And over here, and Chamin Shuchamu b'Erev Shabbat is also Asur. The question is, what happens with Chamin Shuchamu b'Erev Yom Tov? That we'll see later, the mahloka between the Rif and the Tosfot. What? The Bim Iris Oseri in Sonin. Right. Okay. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.